Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. So as we continue thinking about managing and managing with strengths, today I really want to focus on something that might help some of you managers to manage projects. So it might be project management with people management. So some of us just manage more projects and we don't manage the people and have people responsibilities, and some of us have both. But really when you think about either way, you have to think about how can we get the most out of people to be engaged, to be successful, to meet the outcome. So when we think about project management, when we think about how do we bring on people and utilize them in the best way, we step back sometimes and think about, well, this is my job, this is your job, this is his job, this is her job, and we kind of focus on those job descriptions. Now, I want you to do that from the sake of expectations for people's roles, but sometimes there's really no definition, as you heard me say a couple weeks ago. It's not that you have to have a certain percentage or they have to have a certain percentage. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to reach the outcomes in a good quality way. So I want you to look at your project teams and think about them differently. And it might be that we approach it different than we have in the past. So if you think about a project and you kind of put, if you visualize a center of paper and you put, this is the project and this is what we're working to accomplish. And then have the different steps outlined accordingly, whether I kind of look at it as little circles of all the different steps that might be in that project planning and those steps of accomplishing the project. And really stepping back and talking to the team about that project. It might be something new. Let's just say we're going down the path of a new project that we're doing that we haven't done before, but might have similarities, of course, with people's roles. And look at the project differently from a strengths-based perspective and say, what would you love to do? So instead of you as the manager assigning what everyone needs to do, ask them to say, hey, what parts would you like to do? So we're going to do a sign up today, and I want you to think about this project. You as the manager build the vision, think about what we're working to accomplish, where we're heading, what's the timeline, and then let everybody choose what they would like to do. And have them put their first, second, third choices, or however it works, because we have to pull the timing together. And you might look at that and go, oh my gosh, that's just going to cause total chaos. You might look at it as, I might learn something. And you might look at it as, okay, it's going to be more work for me because it's going to be a different management flow, which could be. But I want you to think about, if you allow people to do what they do best, they usually get things done quicker, better, faster. Now, you as a manager has to also observe a couple things. One is some people gravitate to the things that they're comfortable with, and will always do those. And you have to look to that and see, are they comfortable and do they do it well? Or are they just comfortable and they're mediocre? And maybe we need to expand them into other areas. So part of it is letting them sign up, thinking about that, discussing it with the team, asking them, then why would you like to do that? Hey, Scott, I saw you picked something up here you don't normally do. Tell me more about that. And so then all of a sudden we can start having dialogue. At the end of the day, you're still the manager, right? You're still the manager and you make the choice at the end of the day. But opening it up and having a dialogue about why someone would like to do certain things then would help create the great positive outcome. But of course, if that's something that you don't feel will be successful, it's really having that conversation with the person saying, hey, you know what, we need some training there, or you need to really think about, you haven't done that before, let's talk about a development path for you to get to that point. So really it creates a few different things that maybe you really hadn't thought about if you hadn't had that conversation about that with that person about doing some of those things. It now creates a development path towards that for you and that person. So just a different way to think about that. I used to do an activity called Throw It on the Table, and my team would look at me strangely as I always came up with new ideas and said, what's this about? And the whole activity was about, during our staff meeting, I'd say, okay, we're going to throw it on the table. And they looked at me and go, okay. And I said, what's one thing that you haven't done that's been on your to-do list for a while? Of course, that allows vulnerability, which people don't always love to be vulnerable, but when we allow them to be vulnerable in a safe place, it's a good thing. So, Mary over here would say, gosh, you know what, I've been needing to run this spreadsheet for a client and I haven't done it. And I say, how do you feel about that? And she goes, horrible. Every morning I wake up and it bothers me. At the end of the day, it bothers me. So obviously it's not her strengths. It's not just she doesn't have time to do it. So she explains it and Michelle goes, I'll do that. Michelle takes it back and gets it done in 15 minutes. Okay, so then you go, that's interesting. Michelle loves to do it. She does it very quickly. So, another individual on our team, Julie, says, I'm supposed to call this client back, and I haven't because, we're canceling this program, and I just don't like conflict, and I'm afraid of what they'll say. And so somebody else over there takes it and says, hey, you know what, I'll call, and gets it done quickly. Now you may be thinking, gosh, Lori, aren't you holding your people accountable for their expectations of their job? Of course I am. But when you really step back and allow the team to talk about things that they're not getting done and talk about how can we work together as a team, and all of a sudden I see people grabbing things that are easy for them and grabbing other things that are easy for others, you kind of look as a manager to say, maybe I could tweak some things and make us be more effective as a team. Now, if somebody's throwing half of their job up on the table, obviously you have a problem. But this is just kind of a fun activity to maybe move some things around, create some energy, and give people a little bit of freedom about choosing and tossing up. It also allows vulnerability within the team, which therefore gets to more courageous decisions, more open dialogue, and open conversations. So, little different idea, but something that you might want to consider. So for positive charge this week, first I want you to think about projects. What projects do you have, and what is your style of managing projects? Second, I want you to think about taking a project and doing the activity where you allow people to sign up. First, think about what, maybe that's just a small project, what project would that be, and how would you go about it? So when we think about managing people and managing projects, they all come together. The talent side of people using their strengths in those projects really helps us get those projects done, really helps us accomplish that. But I really want you to think about it in a different way. We all want to meet good outcomes. We want to get things done quickly, with high quality, with engaged employees. Thank you for joining us today, and remember to get your mind out.